Feds backing down from that standoff with cattle ranchers in Nevada. The ranchers have not paid, that particular rancher, he's not paid grazing fees in 20 years. So why are the feds standing down? They have, you know. Judge Napolitano is on the case, and he's next. You know, the standoff between the feds and that rancher in Nevada, it seems to be over now. Listen to this.
Those cattle are ours. They're Clive and Bundy's family's cattle. And they stole them from us. And they've realized it. They're our cows, and they get to come home.
Yeah, actually, the point is they've given the cows back. The feds had seized the ranchers' cattle because the cows were grazing on federal land. They wanted to pay grazing fees. Okay, Judge, why did the feds basically back away here?
I think the feds were suffering such a terrible PR loss at the hands of people who believe that there's something wrong here. This is fundamentally unfair. Look, this rancher has had his day in court and lost. He had his day in court in a federal court in which the issue was who owns this land, you, the state of Nevada, or the federal government. In my view, that case should have been tried in a state court and not in a federal court. The federal government, even the judiciary, the federal judiciary, should not be deciding what land the federal government owns. He lost the case. Instead of resolving this in a peaceful way, instead of docketing his property with a judgment, he'd have to pay the judgment when he sells the property, just like the rest of us do if we owe money to somebody and we don't want to pay them. They swooped in with black helicopters. I don't know what color the helicopters were, but the image is there. Yep. With assault rifles aimed and ready, and stole this guy's property, just as that woman said. They stole his cattle. They didn't have the right to do that. That's theft, and they should have been arrested by state officials for that. And just as egregious, they established something utterly repellent in America, a First Amendment zone. They established a 25-yard by 25-yard squared-off area with duct tape in the middle of the desert and said, you want to protest? You can go in this square and protest. If you protest outside the square, we're going to arrest you. The square was 3 miles away from where these events were going. This is the federal government emasculating the First Amendment rights of the protesters.
Do they have any right to do that, bearing in mind that some of the protesters turned up with guns?
Absolutely not.
And there could have been a gunfight.
Absolutely literally not. They have no ability whatsoever under the Constitution to interfere with the First Amendment right of the protesters.
Then what right do they have to collect the money which the rancher owes for grazing fees from way back?
The rancher lost the case. I don't know if the case was fair or not, but he lost, and he lost the appeal. So we'll assume, for the sake of argument, that the loss and the appeal were accurately decided. The government's option is to take the amount of money he owes them and docket it. That is, file the lien on his property, which is the same thing you would do if I owed you money and refused to pay it. You can't seize my property, but you can docket your judgment on my property, and when I die or when I sell that property, the money comes off the top to you with interest, with whatever the statutory interest is. The federal government could have done that. Instead, they wanted this show of force, and the resistance that they got made it sound like enough is enough with the federal government. We're drawing a line in the sand right here. And it drew people from all around the country who basically said to the feds, quit your heavy-handed theft of property and act like you're a normal litigant and not God Almighty.
A lot of angles to this.
Yes, there are a lot of
Harry Reid's son and a Chinese company with a big solar project wanting.
Why has Harry Reid been silent about this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's an energy project going on there. There's the idea that government, federal and state own 84% of the land there. And we have $17 trillion in debt. Maybe they might want to sell some of that land. People, to your point, Judge, were pushed to their limits. This rekindled a spirit that had been fading in this country. I'm glad people stood up for the rancher.
Well said. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome.